You probably think the #1 culprit behind stroke or heart attack is high blood pressure or atrial fibrillation, but trust me, that's not the truth. Those are only warning signals, not the root cause. And because of this misunderstanding, millions of lives have been lost without people ever realizing why. One leading heart surgeon once revealed that nearly 100% of his patients who ended up on the operating table had one thing in common: a thick layer of fat wrapped tightly around their heart. That deadly fat didn't appear by accident. It was the product of a hidden force, silently damaging the body for years: insulin resistance. This is the real silent killer. When you develop insulin resistance, your body falls into a dangerous chain reaction. Blood pressure spikes, blood vessels become inflamed and weak, and visceral fat piles up. Over time, your heart turns into a ticking time bomb just waiting to go off. The frightening part is that insulin resistance doesn't shout. It doesn't give you obvious warnings. It only whispers through small signs: a growing waistline, slightly elevated blood pressure, mildly high blood sugar, fatigue after meals, constant hunger. And we brush them off, blaming old age. That very denial has cost millions of people their lives. In this video, I'm going to expose the plain truth. Insulin resistance is the #1 cause of stroke and heart attack. You'll learn how to recognize it, how to reverse it, and the 3 survival pillars that can save your heart and your life.
For decades, we've been conditioned to believe, almost without question, that high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, or high cholesterol are the primary causes of stroke and heart attack. The numbers on a blood test or a blood pressure monitor became like a death sentence hanging over people's heads, driving millions to live in constant fear and to depend completely on medication to bring those numbers down. But if those were truly the root causes, why do so many people, despite taking their medicine faithfully and checking regularly, still suffer strokes, still collapse suddenly in their living room or behind the wheel of a car? The truth is, factors like high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, or cholesterol are just the tip of the iceberg. They're like the smoke alarms sounding when the house is already on fire. The problem is, we've mistaken the alarm for the cause of the flames. High blood pressure doesn't appear out of nowhere. Atrial fibrillation doesn't just happen, and cholesterol doesn't simply build up on its own. They all stem from a hidden driver working behind the scenes: insulin resistance. When we don't understand this, we fall into a dangerous cycle. Measure the numbers, see they're high, take medication, numbers drop, feel reassured, yet inside, the real culprit keeps silently destroying the arteries. It's like mopping the floor over and over while the faucet is still leaking. Sooner or later, the room will flood no matter how clean the floor looks. This confusion between cause and effect has cost millions of people the chance to prevent disease early.
And to break free from this vicious loop, the first step is to see clearly. What we thought were causes are really just warning signals. The true culprit lies hidden beneath the surface, and unless we uncover it, every effort remains just a temporary fix, never a real solution. If high blood pressure or atrial fibrillation are the black smoke signaling a fire, then insulin resistance is the actual spark quietly burning your body from the inside out. It may sound unfamiliar, but in reality, it's something very common. Insulin is a hormone made by the pancreas, like a key that unlocks cells so sugar can enter and be used for energy. In a healthy body, just a few keys are enough, but when you develop insulin resistance, the locks on your cells become stubborn, rusty, and unresponsive. As a result, the body has to produce more and more insulin, like carrying around a giant key ring, just to force open doors that no longer work properly. At first glance, this may not seem harmful, but persistently high insulin is the root of countless health disasters. First, insulin constantly signals the kidneys to retain salt and water, increasing blood volume and piling pressure on artery walls. This is the beginning of high blood pressure. Second, high insulin drives chronic inflammation, attacking the fragile lining of blood vessels. Once that lining is scratched, the body responds by forming plaque, gradually hardening and narrowing the arteries. And third, insulin promotes fat buildup in the most dangerous places, around the liver, surrounding vital organs, and especially wrapped around the heart.
This visceral fat isn't just dead weight, it acts like a separate organ, continuously releasing inflammatory chemicals, trapping the heart, and making it prone to rhythm problems, especially atrial fibrillation. In other words, insulin resistance is the conductor of an entire orchestra of chaos: rising blood pressure, inflamed vessels, irregular heartbeat, and fat suffocating your organs. Each issue may show up on a test result or as a symptom, but few realize they all share one single root cause. This is also why so many people believe they're managing their blood pressure well with medication, yet still suffer a sudden stroke. Because medication only quiets the alarm, it never puts out the fire. The encouraging news is that your body never stays completely silent. It sends out early warning signals when you begin slipping into insulin resistance. A growing waistline, creeping blood pressure, patches of darkened skin or skin tags, fatigue after meals, all of these are outward signs of a storm building inside. If you pay attention, these are golden opportunities to act before it's too late. Insulin resistance doesn't show up loudly. It won't knock you down instantly, and it doesn't always announce itself with severe pain. Instead, it behaves like a quiet thief, sneaking in day by day, leaving subtle traces that are easy to ignore unless you're alert. But the body always sends signals, clearer and earlier than most people realize. Recognizing them is your chance to act in time. And there are 7 key signs that everyone oversees.
The first sign, an expanding waistline. You might notice your clothes getting tighter, your lower belly protruding, and your waistline disappearing. This isn't just about appearance or a natural part of aging. A growing waistline is a mirror of the visceral fat accumulating inside. Unlike fat under the skin, visceral fat wraps around the liver, kidneys, and most dangerously, the heart. For men, a waist over 40 inches and for women over 35 inches is a red flag. The larger the waistline, the higher the risk of insulin resistance, and with it, the closer the threat of stroke or heart attack. The second sign, skin tags or darkened patches of skin. Have you ever noticed soft, tiny growths around your neck, armpits, or groin? They aren't just harmless signs of aging, they are markers of high insulin in your blood. Alongside this, a condition called acanthosis nigricans, velvety, darkened patches of skin, often found on the neck or underarms, is another clear warning. Your body is sending you a message. Insulin has crossed the safe line, and the system is out of balance. The third sign, blood pressure creeping up over the years. Many people hear their doctor say, "Your numbers are just a little high, let's keep an eye on it." For example, 135/85. That number may not set off alarms immediately, but it is a silent signal. Elevated insulin is constantly instructing the kidneys to retain salt and water, steadily raising the pressure inside your vessels. High blood pressure doesn't appear out of thin air. It is a direct consequence of insulin resistance.
You may notice that your triglycerides are high, while your HDL, the good cholesterol, is low. This is the classic fingerprint of insulin resistance. Many people have perfectly normal total cholesterol, but still show this pattern, and they don't understand why their doctor warns them of higher risk. It's the combination of high triglycerides plus low HDL that sends the clearest message. Your metabolism is out of balance. The fifth sign, difficulty losing weight, especially around the belly. You cut calories, follow diets, even exercise regularly, yet that waistline refuses to shrink. The reason is that insulin, the fat-storing hormone, is running high, locking your body into storage mode and preventing it from burning off what's already there. This is why so many people feel discouraged, assuming age alone is to blame, when in reality the root cause is insulin resistance. The sixth sign: feeling hungry and irritable when meals are delayed. Do you ever notice your hands trembling, restlessness, or even irritability when you miss a meal? People jokingly call it being hangry, both hungry and angry. In truth, this is the insulin roller coaster. After eating lots of carbs, insulin spikes, pulling blood sugar down too far, which triggers intense hunger. You crave sweets, eat more carbs, and the cycle repeats. If this happens often, it's a clear signal your body is out of balance. The seventh sign: fatigue after carb-heavy meals. After a plate of white rice, pasta, or potatoes, you feel heavy.
Your energy crashes as blood sugar plummets quickly. If you frequently feel drowsy after eating, take it as a serious warning sign. When you put these 7 signs together, the picture becomes crystal clear. If you have 2 or more of them, it's not just a coincidence, it's your body urgently telling you your insulin is out of control. And if you ignore it, the consequences go far beyond a bigger waistline or skin changes. The real cost is blood vessels being damaged, blood pressure climbing, your heart suffocated by visceral fat, and the risk of stroke or heart attack becoming very real. The most important thing to remember is this: these signs show up years before a crisis strikes. They are your golden opportunity to act. Don't dismiss that beer belly, don't overlook post-meal drowsiness, and don't assume dark skin patches are only cosmetic. They are SOS signals from your body. If you recognize yourself in these signs today, don't see it as a sentence, it's a chance. Because thanks to these signals, you know it's time to change before it's too late. Cutting back on sugar, eliminating industrial oils, adding greens, clean protein, and healthy fats, and moving your body daily, these small steps can make a huge difference. Most importantly, they can free you from the looming shadow of stroke and heart attack, helping you live healthier, more independent, and more at peace in the years ahead.
Blood pressure drugs, diuretics, statins, they can make the numbers on paper look better. But if that's all you do, you're treating the surface, not the root. Picture it like this. You see water flooding your floor, so you grab a mop. The next day, the water is back. You mop again and again. The problem never ends until you fix the leaking faucet. Taking medication without addressing insulin resistance is exactly the same, mopping the floor while the faucet keeps running. The truth is, medication only quiets the body's alarm bells. Blood pressure comes down, cholesterol drops, and patients feel reassured that the danger is under control. But all the while, insulin remains elevated, silently attacking the arteries, weakening the lining, piling fat around the heart, and fueling chronic inflammation. The result? Many patients take their medicine faithfully, follow every instruction, and still suffer a stroke or heart attack. They've silenced the smoke, but the fire is still burning beneath. This doesn't mean medication is useless. In emergencies, drugs save countless lives, preventing complications from striking immediately. But for long-term protection, for truly lowering your risk, you cannot rely on medication alone. You must address the root cause: insulin resistance. Only when insulin is brought back to normal levels does the body have the chance to heal, arteries the chance to stay protected, and the heart and brain the chance to remain safe.
Insulin resistance is not just some distant medical term. It's a chain of silent consequences unfolding inside millions of bodies every single day. When insulin levels remain constantly high, you may not feel it right away, but inside, every organ and every blood vessel is under strain. Let's start with the arteries. A healthy blood vessel is like a smooth, flexible hose, allowing blood to flow freely. But with prolonged high insulin, inflammation sets in and repeatedly attacks the endothelium, the fragile inner lining of the vessels. Tiny scratches begin to appear, and the body sends cholesterol to patch them up. Over time,
these patches turn into plaque, making arteries stiffer and narrower. Blood must now push through a system of pipes that are both tighter and rougher, raising pressure and dramatically increasing the risk of blockage. And it doesn't stop there. High insulin forces the heart to function under constant red alert. It makes the heart beat faster, blood vessels constrict more, as if your body is locked in a perpetual stress state. For older adults, whose hearts have already been working non-stop for decades, this extra burden makes them more vulnerable to rhythm disturbances, especially atrial fibrillation, one of the leading risk factors for stroke. Another consequence few people notice is visceral fat, especially the fat surrounding the heart, known as pericardial fat. This isn't the harmless fat under your skin.
Imagine your heart as an engine running non-stop but always covered in leaking dirty oil, slowing it down and gradually corroding the machinery. That's exactly what chronically high insulin does inside your body. At the same time, insulin drives fat accumulation around the liver and belly. Fatty liver and an expanding waistline aren't just cosmetic issues, they are clear signs that the body is drowning in insulin resistance. And that growing waistline is one of the strongest predictors of future heart disease risk. All of these consequences usually unfold in silence, without obvious symptoms, until the crisis hits. Many people go about daily life as usual until one day a sudden stroke or heart attack strikes like a bolt of lightning. This shows that insulin resistance isn't just a metabolic problem, it's the most dangerous enemy of the heart and brain. An enemy that, if left unrecognized, can exact a devastating price. Now that we understand insulin resistance is the hidden culprit, the most important question is, what can we do to prevent it, and even reverse it? The good news is the answer doesn't lie in complicated or expensive measures. In fact, it comes down to 3 foundational pillars that anyone can begin right away, no matter their age. These are paying attention to what you eat, when you eat, and how you move. Pillar 1. Pay attention to what you eat. Insulin resistance is like a fire burning.
Every can of soda, every slice of white bread, every serving of pasta or bowl of refined rice sends insulin soaring. When this happens over and over, day after day, your body never gets a rest. It stays locked in fat storage mode and chronic inflammation. On top of that, industrial oils like soybean, corn, canola, and sunflower, found in most packaged foods, throw off the balance of omega-6 and omega-3, pushing your body into a constant state of inflammation. So what should you eat? Choose real foods, as close to nature as possible. That means high-quality protein from clean meats, fish, eggs, and pasture-raised poultry. It means healthy fats from extra virgin olive oil, avocados, nuts, and especially omega-3 rich fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. And of course, don't forget low-starch vegetables, leafy greens, broccoli, bell peppers, tomatoes, the fiber and antioxidants that fight inflammation and protect your arteries. When you swap out toxic fuel for healing foods, your body begins to repair itself. Pillar 2. Pay attention to when you eat. Our bodies were never designed to be fed non-stop from morning till night. Yet modern living with constant snacking and endless small meals keeps insulin levels high with no chance to drop. Every time you put food in your mouth, even just a small cookie, your pancreas has to release insulin. Repeat this all day long, and your body ends up trapped in permanent fat storage mode.
The solution is surprisingly simple. Give your body those precious breaks. You don't need to follow complicated fasting routines. Just start by finishing dinner earlier, say around 7 p.m., and avoid eating again until 7 a.m. the next morning. In that 12-hour window, your body finally gets the chance to lower insulin, shifting from storage mode into fat-burning mode. Another powerful step is cutting out the habit of constant snacking.
Each time you resist that mid-morning or mid-afternoon sugar craving, you're giving your body another golden window to heal itself. For older adults, these small changes are safe, yet deliver huge benefits for heart health. Pillar 3. Pay attention to how you move. Your muscles are like giant sponges, able to soak up sugar from the blood and use it for energy without requiring much insulin. This means every time you move, you ease the burden on your body and help insulin work more efficiently. And you don't need intense workouts to reap the rewards. A simple habit, walking for 15 minutes after your main meals, immediately channels sugar from your food into your muscles instead of letting it float in your blood and spike insulin. This is a small trick with a big impact on controlling insulin resistance. Alongside walking, don't overlook light resistance exercises.
You don't need to become a bodybuilder. Just using small weights, resistance bands, or even your own body weight, like push-ups or sit-to-stand movements, is enough to maintain and build muscle. Every new muscle fiber you create is like adding another storage tank for sugar, making your body more sensitive to insulin. And after age 60, maintaining muscle also means better balance, fewer falls, and greater independence in daily life. These 3 pillars may seem simple, but together they hold the power to transform the course of disease. You're not just lowering a blood pressure number or blood sugar reading, you're actually resetting the operating system of your body. You're putting out the fire of insulin resistance at its root, giving your heart and brain the chance to heal, and most importantly, giving yourself the gift of a healthier, more independent, and more fulfilling life in your later years. Now you can see clearly, the #1 culprit behind strokes and heart attacks isn't just high blood pressure, it isn't just cholesterol, and it certainly isn't lifeless numbers on a lab report. Those are only signals, the alarms. The real culprit is insulin resistance, the silent commander driving the whole chain of reactions, raising blood pressure, damaging vessel walls, building visceral fat, and ultimately leading to the crisis no one expects.
The fortunate truth is that the human body has a remarkable gift, the ability to heal. Whether you are in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, if you provide the right conditions, your body can still repair itself. None of us want to spend our later years shuttling to doctor's visits, depending on medications, and dreading every test result. What we truly want is an independent old age, still able to stroll through the park, drive to visit friends, or hold our grandchildren without the fear of suddenly collapsing. And the key to that doesn't lie in some miracle pill, but in the 3 simple pillars you've just learned: choosing the right foods, paying attention to when you eat, and moving your body every day. If this video has given you a fresh perspective, tap the like button so I know the message truly helped. Share it with your friends and loved ones, those who may also worry about blood pressure, cholesterol, or stroke risk, so they know there's a smarter, more sustainable way forward. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming videos where we'll uncover more vital secrets to living healthy, peaceful, and independent in your golden years.